All right, we're back. We are back for the Broke Broker podcast. Thanks for tuning in for all of you guys that watch us. We are live on Facebook right now as well. And today we decided we wanted to dive in on setting your business up for sale, retirement, merger, whatever it is you have for your future. Setting up your future is something every agent should really be thinking about. If every agent approaches, whether they're an agent, a team leader, or a broker, sets up their business in the right fashion, it's got value. Even if you decide to not go out and show houses or list houses anymore, it has value. It doesn't have value if it exists all in your head, though. So before we even dive into what does it look like to sell your brokerage, what does it look like to do what Derek and I did, which was take our brokerages and merge them into a national, what people would call cloud-based company, Real Broker. But even if you're not there yet, and you're just a single agent watching this, or you're a small team leader, whatever it may be, it starts with a database. You having a bunch of contacts in your head or just in the contacts on your phone does not have value. Your book of business has value, but if it lives in your head, it's not going to be worth anything to anybody. So start managing your database and growing your database, because a good, effective database has value. It has value, right, Derek?
Absolutely, 100%.
Derek, have you seen other agents sell their book of business and retire?
A couple times, but it's few and far between.
Same.
It's the agents that run, whether you're, and you started the conversation with it, whether you're an individual agent, a team leader with a small team, or you're running your own independent brokerage or small franchise. Your value is in your data. And unless you have your data, your systems, and your processes detailed, then your business isn't worth anything.
Yeah, right. How many companies have we seen that have bought other companies strictly for their data? They didn't care about the company. They didn't care what they were selling. They just wanted the damn data. You know, that's interesting to me. You know, that is where all these major companies are going. They're not buying a product. They're buying data. They're buying customers. So it's the same thing for your business. You know, if you get to the point where you can't physically work, or you don't want to physically be out there selling houses anymore, start setting your business up now for future sale. What that looks like, you may not know right now. But what it does mean, no matter what, is a well-organized database that is full of people that want to hear from you. You know, that you can continue to reach out to with texts and emails and postcards, and business will come. Even if someone else is working that business on your behalf and has helped you transition to a non-active role. So that is a possibility for the agents that are listening. I want you to move towards that goal. Maybe you don't ever do it. Maybe you don't decide to do it, but if you're set up for it, your business is going to be running the right way. So now let's talk about brokerages. You know, there's a deep-seated reason why I left the brokerage world. It, over 15 years, has become extremely hard for a broker to make a profit. You can live in that small world with a few agents and be profitable, so to speak. Maybe not the profit level you ever wanted, especially with the splits and caps that are out there now for other independent brokerages, but there's a ton of risk involved in it. There's a ton of risk. There's a ton of management. There's a ton of hands-on. You're trying to go on vacation and someone's looking for a commission check because they just had their first deal in the last 6 months. I mean, Derek, we've both been there, right?
Absolutely.
If you think there's no time off as a real estate agent, you can double that as a broker.
Correct.
It's twice as worse. When someone wants to get paid, they want to get paid. They don't care what's going on in your life. They want to get paid. And I don't blame them. You know, we all have bills to pay. But that was the extremely hard part about running a brokerage. And so these challenging times in this challenging market, and the pressure on brokers and brokerages to offer more for a higher split and a lower cap is insane. It's so ridiculous that some of them I just laugh at, thinking to myself, you're going to take on all that risk for such a low cap and such a high split? my personal opinion, it's probably not worth it. It's not worth the risk, especially with all the lawsuits going on. We know that these major MLS lawsuits, they're going to make it to the local markets. There are going to be brokers that get sued for $200,000 instead of 150 million, because if someone thinks they got screwed and they see what happened up there, what happened in the REO world? You remember all these REO cases and the Mendez big case, and there was a couple. Benez was another case.
Baez.
What happened?
Baez,
What happened? They all trickled down to the state and local level. The same thing will happen in MLS. It's a dangerous game being a broker. So I see ads every day. There's brokerages running ads. We'll buy your business. Sell your brokerage, merge in with us, and we'll give you a lump sum payment. There's a reason for that. There are a lot of brokers looking at their future, and even team leaders saying, do I go independent? Do I take my team and roll it into an ICOB brokerage that gives me more advantages than being an independent? Or what do I do? Do I sell my brokerage? I explored a lot of different options. And, there are sale options out there. But Derek, when you were thinking about making your transition with your brokerage, what would you say was out there for offers, and how did you see the opportunities out there and how did you weigh those decisions? If someone's coming in and saying, Derek, I'll make you an offer for your brokerage, but what are they looking for?
Yeah, so I mean, it's in years past, it happened several times where people wanted to come in and take over or merge. I've talked to 4 or 5 independents in the last 6 months. So I'll use a live example. I won't mention the name of the brokerage, but when I look at the brokerage, the broker owner is the bell cow. She's doing the most of the business there. And in 2021, they did a little over 100 transactions as an office. In 2022, they did about 90. This year, they're down to 55. Okay. Why is that as a brokerage? The last 2 years have been tough. This year's been very tough. And you have to ask yourself, is it worth it being an independent? If I look at her production, of the 60 transactions, 35 or 40 of them were her own. So why is she running this independent office? And she has about 30 agents. Do they all do a lot of business? Some do a decent amount. But the liability she's putting on her shoulders is massive. And the time is massive. And some of the same conversations that we've had for months now. When I was talking with her, she's like, the agent engagement isn't there. It's harder to get them in to do trainings and to learn. So she's looking at, what should she do? Should she take an offer from a competitor and get one lump sum check, but have to be on the hook to stay there for 3 to 5 years so her agents stay? Or does she look at something like a cloud-based brokerage with rev share? And that's been the game changer. There's no secret, I've been in the business since 2003. I was with Exit for a very long time. It was a great company, great people, great brand, but there's other companies out there now that offer more for their agents as far as tools, technology, and training, and a better way of life, where I don't have the stress of the constant phone calls with agents and putting out fires and the NAR lawsuits in different states alarming to me, because just like you said earlier, what's going to stop that from trickling down to the local independent offices, to the big teams? And unfortunately, in this day and age, anyone can sue anyone for anything they want.
Yep. It's so true. And it's important to note that this is not by any means a podcast that's a real broker commercial. For us, it was the right choice to align with Real Broker for a couple of reasons we'll mention during this. But overall, would advise anybody that's listening to this that's an independent broker or team leader is just explore several options. Do not just think that selling your brokerage is the right thing. Do not think that just joining Real Brokerage is the right thing. You got to find the right opportunity for you, but it's important to not just look at selling. Why? Because if you're just being paid to be bought out and you got to stay on for a certain number of years, what are you really trading? You're really trading ownership for a salaried position that's going to end at some point in time and probably end in the near future. And believe me, I received offers, and some of them were decent. They were good, pretty good offers. They would have made a couple of years, the last couple of years, probably a lot more comfortable than the 2023 year I had. Believe me, I could have had that nice chunk of money that was just sitting on, saying, okay, I'll just relax while this market sucks. But at the end of the day, I was looking at my long-term vision for my family and for my legacy. And those offers didn't align with that. They didn't align with an opportunity to, in my forecast, another 20 years, make millions in rev share, stock, and continuing to manage a team. Millions versus maybe a couple 100,000 at the max for a sale. And that was with a 70 agent brokerage. It's not like I had people offering me millions. Those millions and millions of dollars offers are not out there. They're not paying big money for a merger. And most of those companies that are looking to purchase companies, they're not publicly traded companies. They're not the kind of companies that are going to create revenue share for you and your family long term. And I am comfortable knowing that for me, the right decision for me was going to a company like Real Broker, which has allowed me to expand my network, expand my revenue share, and focus really on what I love to do, which is selling and coaching. Selling real estate and coaching agents how to be great agents. All the other time I was spending on reviewing paperwork, managing escrow issues, resolving problems that a broker has to deal with, that was eating up a major amount of my time. QuickBooks was a nightmare. Accounting was a nightmare. Tracking escrows was a nightmare. It just wasn't something that was my line, where I needed to focus my time. It wasn't staying in my lane. And that, for me, Real Broker was the right answer. For other people out there, maybe they just want to get out quick and forget the business ever existed. But there's a lot of owners out there that still enjoy the business. They still enjoy maybe coaching agents. And a lot of times I think the cloud-based brokerages out there are a great opportunity and they should be explored. Because at the end of the day, what I look at it, like what I did was I outsourced my brokerage management to Real Broker LLC. I am still a growth leader. I am still a leader. I'm still a coach. I still sell. I just don't manage the day-to-day operations of the brokerage. Real Broker does that for me now. What about for you?
Well, and again, I mean, it's just the technology that's out there to make life easier. I have several agents that just closed their first deal under Real, and they were amazed at the app and amazed they got paid within 24 hours of closing the deal. I used to have to block off, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours a week just to cut checks, and then to make sure that everything went smoothly. Now everything's done with technology. So like you said, there's a right fit for everybody at a variety of companies. But it's amazing to me when I talk to some realtors and team leaders and owners, they just have their head in the sand. They've been with one company for a long time. I was one of them. I was guilty of it. I always explored everything else that was out there, so I knew what my competition was doing. But I never thought there would be an opportunity that's out there now. And the other huge thing is just there's no boundaries for our business. We can operate in any state we want, which is a game changer without having to manage the headaches of those state licenses.
Yeah, I had 5. I've already dropped 2 because I don't need them anymore. I don't need them to service my agents. And I was at the end, I was getting the question like, when are you getting your Florida license? Because I'm going to be in Florida a couple years from now. And
Correct.
like flexibility of working for a company like Real, where you work for a corporate entity versus a franchise company, the difference is abundantly clear. Every process becomes the same cross state. You can do business in any state you get licensed in. You can refer in any business state you get licensed in. You could build an expansion team in another state and not be personally licensed in that state. That is the flexibility that a company like Rio or EXP, because they're another one. I know there's other ones out there. To me, those are the front runners right now. Is Rio and EXP is they offer a flexibility that other companies don't offer. Because even like, I hate bringing up other names in these, but a Keller Williams system, for instance, great company. I have nothing bad to say about the company. The structure, however, makes it difficult to be multi-state unless that franchise is licensed in those states too. Because now you're paying splits and caps to two different franchise owners because they both want to get paid, and rightfully so. But that's the nature of why a lot of these cloud-based companies are coming to the forefront. They give people a lot more flexibility. They give teams more flexibilities. Brokers like you and I that love certain aspects of the business but wanted to outsource a lot of the others, that's the flexibility that these companies offer. And the days are over where you can call these companies soulless or valueless from a standpoint of training and coaching. You know, in the beginning, you might have had that argument, but once the industry started to understand that, you know, everyone can bring value to everyone else's life, and you don't need to pay for coaching or have these big corporate run training companies. There's 12,000 agents nationwide that Real, and if you jump on the system any day, there's probably 25 trainings going on. So like the days of lack of training and lack of support and lack of value when you jump to a cloud-based company is completely gone. And people need to lose that. They need to stop saying that and stop listening to it if other people are telling them, because it's simply not true.
It's so 100%. I was talking to one of our top producers the other day, and I told them when he came over, I said, "There's so much training that you could get lost in it." You know, so I said, you know, we had a meeting. And I said, you know, write down the 5 things you want to implement this year that you need more help on. And we took each one of those items and I brought him into the academy and just typed in what he was looking for. You know, better systems on ChatGPT. There's a training on it. Better system on Google My Business. There's detailed training on it. You know, so he's taken about an hour a day just to sit with a cup of coffee in a quiet space and better himself for the business and learn more so he can keep growing and growing his business. So, you know, the collaboration is the other huge part. Tracy, you know, back at our previous brokerage when we were involved with the franchise stuff, we had a great network of people all around the country. And I found that so valuable. And you get that with the bigger brands. If you're an independent, you're on an island. It gets kind of lonely from a lot of the other independents I talk to, and they're having to pay tens and thousands of dollars to belong to these big coaching groups just to get that same feel, and we get it at no cost. You know, it's absolutely amazing.
I'm going to say this. I might be out of the business at this point as a broker and just have hung it up and walked away if I didn't start collaborating with the people I collaborate with at Real. You know, it's a lonely world as a broker. And you know, when I,
it is.
when I,
Who said that?
we got some people in the background. That's Mike. He owns
That's awesome.
a mortgage company, so he knows the pain. But when you collaborate with people at a higher level than you, and you just have open collaboration without expectations or a subscription fee, it's a whole nother world. And you know, I was getting frustrated as a broker owner, and I didn't have people I could lean on. And I got that with Rio, and it's been a big factor for me and my growth in the last year and a half has been being with Rio. I've been in the business 16 years. I know how to sell real estate. I consider myself to be a pretty good broker over the 16 years, but it didn't mean I was at the top of my game. It didn't mean I didn't have struggles like every other broker has. It's having those people you can lean on and having that network nationally that doesn't care who introduced you. I mean, that's one of the big things for me in real is it doesn't matter what network I'm part of. I get tons of value out of people that are in other networks that there's no, okay, what network you in, this network versus that network. That is one of the things I really love about real. It's different than some other cloud-based companies. It doesn't matter what network you're on, you're getting value out of real. But I want to jump in before we get too far into this. And you're a broker and you want to look at your opportunities and you're looking at what's next for me. And maybe a company like Rio is in that discussion. And it's, well, tell me more, Tracy and Derek. What does it look like potentially making a move and bringing my brokerage to Rio? There are many different ways to approach it. But I think a lot of agents don't understand that you, as a broker, you're in essence a team and a broker all in one. And there are team models within Rio that allow you to transition your company and not be just left with just residuals and revenue share, especially if you're running an operation that has overheads and it has services and it has staff and it has things. So one of the things I want independents to realize is you may go online and do all the research you want about Rio and see like, oh, what am I going to do with just revenue share? I can't do that. So part of our transitions, Derek, has been, we are transitioning people to Rio, but we also run teams. And one of the amazing concepts with Rio, I think, is underutilized that we talk to brokers about right now is the marketing group. You can run your team how you want to at Real Brokerage. You can provide services and have a marketing group that, and those agents that like having those services can get those services from you for a team split prior to the real split. So you can develop income streams to run your operation, offload the things you don't love to do anymore, but still have the revenue share from all the services that your agents have come to enjoy. And that's one of the things that we're looking at helping brokers with in the future, right, Derek, is just how to run either a traditional team or a marketing group that takes a smaller percentage, gives the agents the services they still expect, but understands that they have to pay for that, or they can just do everything on their own and be a very independent agent with Real. I've got a lot of agents that are just independent with Real. I've got some agents that are on my team, and we're going to be launching my own marketing group as well for the agents that want sign installations, marketing support, someone to run their Facebook ads for them. What else? Like some coaching on a monthly basis. And instead of looking at that as a typical team percentage of taking 50-50 or 40-40, you're giving them a higher split. You're giving them 80 or 90%, depending on what you provide. And then they're being paid by Real. It creates opportunities for those independent brokers that are looking at it saying, well, I don't think this Real opportunity is for me because I can't just live on a revenue share model.
And Tracy, it's so important when you're going to make a decision, you have to look at all the numbers and really lay it out, on what you're going to do. So some of these big teams, they give a ton of leads and their agents are on a 50-50 split with those leads. And they should be thanking those team leads because, we had a couple on the podcast a few months ago. If they're buying Zillow leads or Realtor.com leads, they're paying thousands and thousands of dollars for those leads. So great big teams can absolutely run like that. For the agents that want to produce their own book of business, but want a few leads sprinkled in just to kind of fill those gaps as they're getting started or rebooting. There's an opportunity there, and that's what I'm excited to explore more with you. As we move into 2024, because agents do want to be held accountable. And with the coaching that we do, between the two of us, we have over 30 years experience in this business.
Yep.
And it's kind of scary to say that because I remember when I first met you back in, I think it was 06, 07. Time flies when we're having fun. But
Yeah, right.
we both helped many agents build from zero to top producers of the business, and that's why I'm excited about what I'm doing now. I get back to do what I really enjoy, which
Yeah.
is helping people grow.
Yeah, same. And a goal of helping other brokers decide what the best decision for them is. I truly look forward to helping other brokers find the love of the business again, like I have making this move. And I know you have as well, Derek. And if it's not this move, at least feeling comfortable with whatever decision they decide on. If it's selling their brokerage, shutting it down, letting it slowly slip away from them. We all know as brokers, anybody broker listening to this call, you're either growing or you're dying. And that's a tough thing for a broker in this world when nobody wants the recruiting calls anymore. And it's pretty tough to just naturally attract people to a small independency office that's, void of the things that, come with a cloud-based company or a major grower in the market where like Real's growing by 1,000 agents a month. There's just natural attraction going on. But the reality for brokers is it's a lonely world. We're happy to chat and help you just, find what's the best path for you. And I think one of the things that we bring to the table with that now, Derek, is our experience making the transition and the mistakes that we made that we can help other people avoid.
Correct.
There were mistakes. There were mistakes.
A couple.
There was a mistake. So, and we can help people avoid that, help brokers and team leaders make the transition and figure out what's the best move for them and how to set their business up for retirement and for a legacy for their family. One of the things I absolutely love is if I get hit by a train tomorrow, my family's going to continue to receive revenue share. I hope I don't get hit by a train tomorrow, but we can't predict our end, unfortunately.
No.
So, if I had an independent brokerage, what would happen to my family? They'd have to try to figure out how to sell it. It may be sold. More likely, it just falls apart and dies. My family's out. Bye-bye, no money.
Correct.
With Real, I have revenue share. If I decide to slow down, I can slow down. I can retire and still make revenue share. That's going live January 1st, that you can retire with rev share and not have any active role in the business. Death benefits, it continues to pay in full benefit to your heirs. It can continue to grow as well. So if you've introduced people that are growing their businesses still, revenue share and retirement and death can continue to grow, which is pretty awesome. So I look at the next 20, what am I, almost 50. I hope I live to 100. I'm shooting for 100. I'm shooting for 100. If I fall short, that's another 30, 40 years between the revenue share, the stock opportunities, my continued business. It will probably 100x anything I could have, probably more than that, at least 100x anything I could have gotten out of selling my brokerage. There's no doubt about it. And for the agents that are listening or the team leaders, is when retirement comes to the point where someone's trying to take over your business, not only are you going to have the continued revenue share benefit, but the team fees, the referral fees, whatever it is, there'll be people within the company, even you and I, Derek, if there's someone watching that planning on retiring in the next 5 years and they don't own a brokerage or a team, but they want to sell their business, come talk to us. We'll help you with that. We'll help align you with the right partner. And usually that's what needs to happen, is either someone already or you've got to find someone that aligns with you and your personality that can step in with your customer base and start to work with them. And we can help people with that as well and help line up and manage the expectations for that agent. So that agent selling their business, their book of business, can take a retirement and feel comfortable that that's just not going to die, that it's going to live on and carry on. So
Tracy, my last 2 thoughts before I sign off here. Agents that are looking to retire, that's one of the big objections I get when I talk to a lot of agents that are with your traditional brands. They've been at a brand for so long and they're like, Derek, it all sounds really good, but I'm only going to be in this for another 5 years and I'm going to retire. And I asked him, I said, well, wouldn't you like a 25% referral fee on your entire book all through retirement? And they kind of sit back and they say, what do you mean? Well, what we started the conversation with, if you have your book of business and it's organized and you have your systems, that's a saleable commodity. Okay. Someone could buy it. I could partner you with an up and coming agent that doesn't have their huge book, but we can start co-branding everything and help them negotiate that. So that way, when they do want to retire, they're still getting paid on their entire book of business that they, over 20, 30 years, they built. You know, I mean, these agents I'm talking to, they're now selling houses to the original client's grandkids. You know, so they sold the parent, they sold the kids, now they're under the grandkids. So they're 3 generations with one family. If you bring someone in and co-brand your marketing, that's going to continue. And eventually that person fades away, but all that joint marketing goes to that book of business. So that's one thing. The last thing I'll say for today, for everyone, whether you're an independent agent, a team leader, or broker, going into 2024, you have to know your numbers and you have to track. If you want to sell anything, you have to be able to track it and prove it. Okay, that has to be proof. So that's the biggest thing is to. I know tracking is never a sexy topic for training, but you got to know your numbers.
Yeah. You know what else is not a sexy topic? Honestly, is rev share. Because what is the one objection we always get with rev share?
They think it's a pyramid scheme.
And then I'm not a recruiter.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Over 2/3 of my downline is attraction. And even for me, it was really attraction. It's more so than that. It's probably 90% is attraction, probably more than that even. Where people are coming into Real is through other agents. Hey, you're at a home inspection. You're at an open house. Oh, you're with Real. I've heard some good things about the company. What's going on? You don't have to recruit. You don't even want to have the conversation about Real. Connect them with someone in your network. Connect them with Derek or I. Happy to chat with people. You know, I don't expect somebody to be able to pitch Real that's trying to attract people in their business. It's attraction based revenue share. Like, do your job well. Have a smile on your damn face. People will wonder what's going on. And that's correct. And even for brokers, like we have some opportunities to have it done for you. You want to roll your team in, you want to roll your brokerage in, you don't really want to have those conversations with people. We'll do it with you. You know, we will help you use your connections, use your influence to introduce people into your world. It's not hard. It's not recruiting. Recruiting is just one of those ick words that got a bad rap when team leaders from companies were calling agents 24 hours a day and driving them absolutely nuts. And it's just one of those words that stuck, that if you've got a revenue share model or you've got a profit share model, it means recruiting. And that's just simply not true. It's just being good at your job and attracting. You are good at your job, you will attract 1 or 2 agents a year. Guaranteed.
Exactly.
So that's it. Oh, that's all I had for today. What about you, Derek? Any leaving thoughts for people? That be open to having a conversation. You know, if you're an agent, team leader, you're not with Real, you're not sure what your next step is, you're exploring your options, but you're exploring it in private because you don't want to talk to anybody, you're afraid to get sold, just call Derek or I. I am not a pushy person. I want to help you self-explore. Derek wants to help you self-explore what it really looks like, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, so that you can make the best decision for yourself at the right timing for yourself. We have a conversation. It's not right for you right now. It's not right for you ever, or it's not right for you for maybe a couple years. Great. We had the conversation. We explored whether we could work well together, and then it's up to you. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. But no, thank you, Tracy. This was a great conversation, and we won't see. I guess we'll see you everyone next week.
Yeah.
But if we don't you know,
We'll,
it should be a good
we'll
one.
do it next Thursday, and then we'll take the week between Christmas and New Year's off.
Yeah. So next Thursday, we're going to have Kathy from Leader Bank joining us. So
Oh, awesome.
she's good to go. We're going to talk about a bunch of the different grant programs out there for home buyers, and a lot of good stuff that will help you help everyone into 2024.
Good stuff. All right. Oh, wait, we have one question. What was the question?
Cool.
Oh, great job.
Yes,
Great to see you. See you guys soon. All right. Awesome. See you. It was fun. See you next
Later.
week.